Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions.
Jules with True Crime Reactions. Let's see what you've got to say about the whole thing. She said conversation between John Paul Miller and the man Mica Miller was dating. Ooh, let's listen to this one again because I want to know. We need to find out if this is real or staged or what. Because I hear a bunch of people saying no, it's 100% real. Then I hear a bunch of people saying that is absolutely staged. So let's take a listen. And make sure you follow her, subscribe to her channel. It's also pinned down in the description. Let's go.
Disclaimer. Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Okay, so Robbie Harvey posted a conversation between JP Miller and apparently the man, young man, I'm going to assume he's like 18, 19, maybe 20 by the sound of his voice and the photo. He sounds and seems fairly much like a young adult here. But this is a conversation between him and JP Miller on March 11th. That's what this whole March 11th thing was that JP kept alluding to, saying basically that the only reason why Mica Miller would have even gone on a date with this guy and being seen by the PI that JP hired is because she was off her medication. Her medication to JP being lithium that was never actually prescribed to Mica Miller, according to her family and her attorney from the journals and diaries they have of Mica's from before she decided to leave this place or left this place. However way you go, she's not here. And she left evidence of, I guess, basically the reasons why. So that's a big deal. But if anything, this conversation is just more proof that JP Miller was one of those guys, which we already knew from the behaviors that we'd seen thus far, that even though he could go out and date the blonde chick and go to the beach with the cheetah print girl and try to get all up in the mermaid.
Go to the beach with the cheetah print girl. Oh,
you what?
Made waitress ladies information, okay, that Mica Miller was never going to be able to move on. She was never going to be unburdened by JP Miller. He was just going to make it worse for her. The more he moved on and the more he did, the worse he was going to make it for her to be able to do the exact same thing. He has already proven it. This conversation concretes it. It's disgusting. So y'all are just going to listen to this with me.
Where did you touch her?
Oh my God. Yeah. See, this part's crazy as hell.
I mean, just like nowhere below reproach. I mean, that's a promise.
Well, the person that saw and got the picture said that you touched her chest.
I didn't. I mean, like,
why would you want to know any of this? You know what I mean? Like, why would that's one of them, like, that's like a category on the, you know what I'm talking about? Like, what? Estranged wife? I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Ex? I'm good. What?
we kissed, so maybe like.
See, this is so ridiculous. JP Miller has been sleeping with the blonde chick and was trying to get the waitress's number and was doing stuff at the beach with the girl with the cheetah tattoos, but she can't move on after all of this time. See what I mean? This is exactly why she had to serve him divorce papers and step away from him. Because even though she has seen him move on and do all of these things with all of these other people and basically just torture her in the process, she's dealing with him slicing and dicing up her tires, following her with a private investigator, all while he's in these other entanglements. She knew.
Entanglement? The hell does that mean?
Divorcing him was going to be the only thing that could maybe stop his insanity and put a little bit of legal stop on them so the cops could actually do something to him if he were to do some crazy crap. Because up until the divorce papers were officially filed, the cops were acting like, oh, it's marital property, it's no big deal, can't do nothing. Losers. Losers. It doesn't matter if someone's married. You can see if there's multiple reports and they're not living together and the addresses are different and she keeps telling you that he's doing all kind of crazy stuff. What the hell should that matter? That is honestly what makes me like the most upset in this.
That's the holes in the law that they were talking about. That's exactly what it is. Because morality and legality don't often meet. So it feels like it should be illegal. And it's like, why the hell can't something be done? But then legally, they're like, well, there aren't laws being broken, you know? And that's why the Mica's list and all that stuff. That's why her family is so like pushing that so much to get past this so that, you know, they can fill in some of those holes.
Entire situation. But he's also got this kid like feeling bad about wanting to date a woman who is no longer with her husband, that is going through a divorce, that has been separated from him, and she's trying to move on. He's trying to make this guy feel bad about it when JP's out here doing his own damn thing.
That's crazy as hell.
Ugh.
Face, neck, but I promise you that nothing below the neck, chest.
And she touched you where?
Just the same place, like my face.
Also remember, while you're listening to him with all of these ridiculously descriptive questions, that there's proof in Mica's journals and stuff that she's handed over to her attorney that he would make her join him with others in sexual things. Even go so far as to go and
how dare you?
What?
pay for people to come and do stuff with them. And there's even one instance where she refused to do it, and he basically made her watch him do things with a male. So the only thing that I'm getting from this conversation
so it is like one of them categories
is that he is getting some sort of
what it seems like
disgusting gratification from asking these questions and thinking about his wife being with another man, just given the track history.
Like my chest.
My guy said there was more than that.
More than what?
More than what you're telling me.
More than what you're telling
Well,
me.
I'm telling you, if you have the videos and the pictures, you can fact check it.
I mean, he'll have them to me by morning time. But he told me there was
So he doesn't even have the pictures and the videos or anything yet. He instantly went to asking this guy all these questions, not even knowing what was really going on. Come on now.
more than that.
Well, that's exactly what happened. There was nothing more than kissing. Nothing more. I promise you that. And then you'll see that.
He said that.
I mean, I know this guy's probably young, but this would have been, we're like, bro, y'all are not together. She's about to file for divorce. It ain't your business. It ain't your business, JP.
yeah.
Touched each other.
And if he wants to be, you know, he could say, I don't kiss and tell. I ain't trying to tell you anything. You weren't there. I wasn't trying to kiss you. That's for damn sure. So I'm good. If you got pictures and videos, there you go. Enjoy them.
Appropriately.
No.
What is he trying to allude to right there? That they were touching each other inappropriately in public, like touching each other's private parts just out in public all willy-nilly and nasty? Is that what he's trying to say here?
Whoa.
Like, that's absolutely insane. Okay, so this...
That's why they make dressing rooms at the mall. Y'all remember being in high school?
You what?
Just kidding. That never happened.
This is the part of the sermon where he actually talks about having to fire this kid. And he sounds so freaking hypocritical in this entire thing, because he sits here.
Soul Surge, you still hanging around? Let's go. What you doing? You gotta come up and join the live stream one of these days.
As a preacher man, as a pastor, literally in front of a congregation, and says this kind of stuff, which is literally like the opposite of what he's basically supposed to have been preaching the entire time. It's ridiculous.
I had somebody on my staff, a young person that I had to let go. I said, listen, I don't want you doing this anymore. This is something that I don't think is right. I want you to stop. And they looked at me and they said this, well, God's my ultimate authority. I said, what did you just say to me? They said, well, you know, if God tells me I can do it, then I can do it.
He's mocking the fact that somebody is claiming only God can judge me, which is kind of like what's pushed a lot, right? So only whenever it doesn't fit JP. And you heard right. This guy worked for the church. That's how Mica probably knew him. I mean, Robbie.
I said, you work for me. They said, God's my, I said, you know what? Get God to sign your paycheck for you because you're fired.
But now,
no, there was nobody laughing in that clip after he was done. And he thought it was.
Yeah, I'll hit him with it. Whoa.
So funny. No, people think you're a joke. Nobody in your audience even moved. Literally at all. No one likes you. No one likes you, JP. Okay, let's get to the end of this, because all this part right here, for you guys that haven't seen this, this is just Robbie talking about how he got proof from this Tracy Ross lady's daughter. Tracy Ross is like JP Miller's right-hand woman who does all this stuff for him, that he called her in the middle of the night, freaking the hell out whenever he found out about Mica Miller being with this guy. And so he like called her, trying to get her to like find out what kind of vehicle the kid drove and stuff, which just tells me that he wanted the vehicle so that the PI could go and put stuff on the vehicle.
Find him, yeah.
oh, he needs some milk.
Crazy.
I'm really wondering if this kid's vehicle was actually checked for tracking devices yet. Have you had any flat tires lately? Super curious.
And you know this is adultery, right? This is straight up adultery.
And what about what you've been doing, JP? What are you talking about, you hypocritical little shithead?
Damn! Tell it like it is.
Emotional damage.
She mad. Let's keep going.
I do, and I'm repenting to you.
Because we're not
Repenting
we're
to
not
him.
legally separated.
Repenting to him. Oh my word.
Even if we were legally separated, it's still adultery.
Okay, but you're like with Blondie doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, and with Cheetah Print Chick at the beach doing stuff you shouldn't be doing,
Cheetah Print Chick.
and trying to get mermaid waitresses information and get pictures and stuff.
Mermaid waitresses. This sounds like it's made up. This sounds crazy as hell.
Stuff from her with your nasty self. What do you mean?
And I am incredibly sorry. And
Why does this guy sound like Taylor Lautner? Like when I'm listening to his voice in my head,
Oh no.
I'm seeing
Werewolves.
like pieces from Twilight. Like I see Taylor Lautner in my head when I'm hearing this guy's voice. Anyone else? I don't know. It's weird.
honestly,
This Stephanie. You got to hit him with that. He needs some milk.
He needs some milk.
do not expect a
Why do you think she called you? Like, do you not see the? You talk about this discernment. You literally have zero discernment.
I mean, Mica is not with you, JP. Mica seems to be somebody who is trying to become stronger on her own and still keep the faith that has horribly let her down. She seems like a decently good person for this guy to want to be around. Sounds like it to me. Like his discernment's just fine.
But do you not see the?
Yeah, trying to be with somebody like that is probably a good thing. You know what I mean? He's like, oh damn.
A married woman called you and asked to meet you at the beach.
I do. That was
Were you not married whenever you were grooming a 15-year-old child?
Oh,
Being a PDF file and an adulterer all at the same time? Ooh, man, I do not like JP Miller. I do not like this man. I do not like this man.
incredibly.
I thought you had discernment. You said you had discernment better than a 70-year-old man.
I was saying.
Now he's just like
70-year-old man. And,
mocking this kid.
you know, I'm not on the phone to argue with you. You know, I'm repenting to you. I honestly
Why would you repent to an imperfect being? And you have nothing to be sorry for.
don't know what else to tell you other than to ask for your forgiveness. And honestly, I don't even expect that from you.
No, I forgive you. No, I forgive you.
And, you know, I am sick to my stomach just from all of it. The whole
So
thing.
JP acting in a way that he shouldn't be acting because him and Mica are not together, and Mica has made it very clear that she's done with the way that he has treated her. And he has been able to now turn everything around here and make this guy feel bad for him. Once again, painting Mica in a negative light, the same way that he did during that entire NeesNation interview.
Mm.
He's such a weasel.
He did the same exact thing to me 10 years ago. Exact same thing. We met
She called him a weasel.
at the same place.
JP Miller, I know you did not. I know you did not. You grooming ass little liar. What do you mean? You met up with her family whenever she was a 15-year-old at the beach, and that's how they got invited to your church? Is that the story that you're trying to tell? I don't know if that's true, but that's how I'm like putting it in my head with the fact that she was 15.
Whoa.
I wonder how this guy feels now, knowing that the truth is the truth. I know this guy probably wants to stay out of the spotlight, but he's got to be angry at this point, knowing that the truth was that JP groomed Mica and was doing all of these horrible things to her, and that he basically made him look like a coward because instead of taking up for himself and being like, hey man, it ain't your business, and yeah, cool, you can fire me, jobs are everywhere, I'll go find another job. But the problem with that is that JP was able to
Didn't like the majority of the people that work there not get paid? Like, remember there was that one pastor that was like, hey, I'm doing this for free and you're buying airplanes.
You what?
Remember that dude? And like they said there was only like 6 people getting paid. Like everybody else is just sitting there like,
Emotional damage.
we would like some of the tithes, please. Tithes, right? What the hell is going on?
How dare you?
Let's keep going.
blacklist people in certain places. That's a lot of the stories that were coming out in the very beginning of this from people in that area that did talk out against JP and that church, that they were scared to because they couldn't lose their jobs. They couldn't afford to move, and they knew that if they said anything, they were going to lose their jobs because that's how much power JP had. So this kid probably literally, just for the sanctity of his own ability to feed himself and for his family not to be burdened by this boo-boo bullshit that JP's pulling.
What'd she say? Bee-boo, baba, boo-boo, boo-boo.
Instead, doesn't take up for himself and cowers. I wonder how they all feel now knowing that JP was the one really in the wrong here for realio. Because this conversation would have been back in March. March 11th is the date that Robbie Harvey and JP Miller keep talking about over and over again. So this would have been literally a conversation on March the 11th, because he's saying that the PI is going to get him all of the videos by the next morning. So I'm going to assume this is a March 11th conversation. Yeah, everything was on March 11th. So that was before she died, obviously. So I really wonder how this person feels now. Knowing that he wasn't doing anything wrong and that JP was a controlling psychopath. Man.
Really. Yeah, and it was just incredibly stupid on my part. And I take all the responsibility.
Is she saying she wants to date you?
He literally sounds like he feels so bad.
No, I mean, it's just really basic conversation. And honestly, she didn't even really mention you or anything.
Honey baby, she's on a date with you. Why would she want to talk about her stupid ass ex-husband? I mean, you literally knew from working at the church who Mica Miller was. Obviously you knew that they were not together anymore because Mica was no longer going to that church. So I understand like the hold that JP had on stuff, but to just know all of those facts on top of this now, like the more that I'm thinking, I'm like, this kid literally knew all of these things and still felt like he had to cower and apologize to this piece of shit. Man.
It all just like normal conversation. She talked about like the Dallas church and how she was doing there. And like,
and you kissed her, or she kissed you?
It was really like a mutual thing.
Y'all were holding hands?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you didn't answer that earlier when I said how y'all were touching. You never said y'all were holding hands.
That's what I was talking about earlier whenever I was talking about it, because in the change of venue survey for the Idaho 4 case, they did have you read, seen, or heard, and then insert rumor or whatever from the PCA here to see if the person had read, seen, or heard something about that subject. And then if they said no about knowing anything else after those questions, they then asked them like a more open-ended question where they could like give actual, just off the top of their head, full-on sentenced answers that weren't yes or no, right? And in a lot of those, they knew a whole lot more. They said a whole lot more than what their knowledge alluded to with like the short yes or no questions, right? And so that just reminded me of this because I listened to this conversation just like right before, earlier in the same day that we read that part of the change of venue document or whatever. And so I stopped, and that's whenever I started going off about JP Miller. So if y'all see that one, yeah, I do go off on a tangent because that's what this reminded me of. He's sitting here literally interrogating this guy, knowing damn well that he probably is going to be going out and meeting up with some chick in like 2 hours after this conversation's over. He makes me so sick to my stomach, y'all. Like for real.
You're right, but yeah, you asked. Yeah, you're right.
Y'all held hands for a long time.
Oh, they held hands.
Definitely not the whole time, but I mean, an extensive period, definitely longer than we kissed.
But remember the waitress, the woman that John Paul left his phone number.
I'm not even going to go through all that again, because if y'all been here for a minute, y'all already know. Let's get to the actual voices here. Here we go.
You know, I just made love to her 4 weeks ago, and she told me I was the best husband in the world.
How can you sit there
She went
and say that kind of stuff to somebody? How can you sit there and say that kind of stuff? There's no way in shit that that's true. There's no way in shit that that's true. That would have been mid-February, because this was March 11th. 4 weeks ago would have been like mid-February. So that would have been around the time that he had her involuntarily committed and stole her car. But we're supposed to believe that they slept together and she told him that he was the best husband in the world. Okay. What a freak.
And you know everything
It sounds like one of the things like, ladies, you know when you're like, it's perfect for me. And the dude's like, yeah. And you already know, like, your buddy's like, yeah, she said it's perfect for me. And you're like,
bruh.
Let's continue. Ladies, if you got what I'm saying, thumbs up in the chats.
I've been through with her.
You mean everything you put her
like
through?
That, you're going to take that from me? Like, just like that? You're going to ruin... She's never slept with anybody other than her first husband. I'm the only person she's ever kissed up until now.
That's not true. For multiple things. For one, he barely slipped the whole like first husband in there, right? And then he said, I'm the only one she's ever kissed up until now. So she didn't date in high school like normal and like have teenage boyfriends before marrying the 18-year-old. And I know she went straight from that 18-year-old to JP. I don't recall, hearing anything about anything in between. But that's also false, just based off what we mentioned earlier. All of the evidence in her journals and diaries of all the disgusting stuff that she was like made to deal with from JP. And he didn't care that she didn't want to be part of it. He forced her. So that's false. Maybe the only statement that's true in that is I'm the only one since her ex-husband that she willingly has kissed. Because we're hearing a lot about stuff she didn't want to do, JP.
Ooh.
So if she comes back in 3 months or 6 months, what's that going to feel like?
Did you care?
For a year?
Oh my gosh, he's got this kid like literally heartbroken.
You did. You're right, you did.
And you got mad at me when I won. You got all defensive. And your mom got upset and sent me a really, really mean text.
Where's mom?
I'm trying to save your butt.
Now, where is mom?
Where's the mom? Has she come out and talked yet? Because she should. Oh, man. Oh, man. But yeah, this does prove that they did have conversations before. But that just more concretes to me that the guy knew that they were not together anymore, that Mica was not living with JP, that she was going to an entire different church and she loved being there and she was getting stronger and she was trying to get her help that she really needed and not what JP was trying to tell her that she needed. She was becoming stronger without JP and she just wanted to date somebody that she had a crush on. Now,
thank you.
If this kid really is like 18, 19 years old, I'm going to really like not be okay with it anyway, because Mica was turning 30. Now, I mean, maybe people could say that that's like an okay situation because she was groomed. And they say that whenever you go through traumas, like your brain is sort of like halted. And it is true.
Oh, damn. Thank you. So, Audrey, that is crazy as hell. Thank you so much.
To a certain extent. But if this guy really is like 18 or 19 years old and she was like a decade his senior, yeah.
But from the same thing that I fell for. Don't come on the property. Don't have anything to do with anything at Solid Rock until I look at the videos and see if you're telling me the exact truth.
Now, one thing that kind of like
Whoa.
was annoying to me is that NeesNation said that they were going to end up putting out some sort of voicemail later on the exact same morning that they posted the family's like rebuttal interview type thing to JP's ridiculous interview. And I haven't seen it actually posted. I checked the next day after the family interview and didn't see it. And I haven't checked again. So I'm going to check now.
Mica Miller, in her own words, we have a voicemail that puts her relationship with her
Lord have mercy, that scared the heck out of me.
reportedly abusive husband in a vastly different light, one you haven't seen before.
See, where is it? And look, 2 days ago, it shows right here. I said, where's the voicemail? So where is it, NeesNation? Now, I had heard this conversation the day that it posted, and it makes me just as upset now, as you can see. He's so condescending. He's just a disgusting human. I just don't get it. Now, there's also a letter that JP Miller wrote to his church concerning the NeesNation interview. I'm going to cover that here in a separate video because it's really long. And this video ended up being a little bit longer than I actually originally wanted it to be. So we're just going to leave it at that. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments about this conversation. And again, I really wonder how this guy feels now that all these truths and all these things about JP has come out, and all of the truth about all the stuff that he was putting Mica through has come out. I really wonder if this guy and his mom are going to come out and speak now that this conversation is out. Really wish they would. I really, really wish they would, man. But I understand if they don't, because we already know, like I mentioned in this video, the reach that JP Miller seems to have. But with all this stuff coming out, doesn't it seem like that reach would be being like diminished down to almost nothingness at this point? You know what I mean? Like he's fallen far with all these truths.
Ooh.